It is Culinary Corner time. And today we're going to be talking about the art of Friday night dinner with Eleanor Staefel. Thanks for being on the show, Eleanor.
Thanks so much for having me.
So what gave you the idea for this book? Because the tagline is you've made it to Friday, now what are you going to eat? Well, why Friday nights?
Well, I think it's just the best night of the week. For me, I kind of think Friday is the time when you kind of get a chance to exhale, and there's such a feeling of relief that you've made it to Friday. And I just think that feeling deserves to be marked. And for me, kind of cooking a great meal and mixing a cocktail, pouring a glass of wine is just the best way to sort of celebrate that end of the week feeling.
Yeah, I always feel like if I have to be good in the week, very healthy in the week, and then at the weekend I can let myself go a bit.
Exactly that.
So you mentioned a Bloody Mary, and I also noticed on the details that are in the book a frozen jalapeno margarita. So there's not just food recipes in the book?
Exactly, there are cocktails as well, and lots of puddings, and really the book is just kind of lots of indulgent recipes. I always kind of think, as you just said, Monday to Thursday we try and be a bit healthy and use up leftovers and be a bit sensible, and then I think when you get to Friday you just really deserve to have something that you really, really fancy, something really delicious. So there are cocktail recipes, both non-alcoholic and slightly harder ones, and there are lots of different kinds of dinner recipes, whether it's sort of dinner for one or a big party, or something, like a batch of cookies just because you really fancy it, or a sundae, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, you've just mentioned what I was going to ask you, actually. This is generally for dinner parties on a Friday night, not if you were staying in on your own, is it?
There are lots of different kinds of recipes in the book. So there's a whole section of dinners which is just for kind of a solo supper. Because I sort of think that, whether you're just on your own on a Friday night, or you're having a date night, or you're having loads of people around, whatever your kind of Friday night looks like, you deserve to have a really great dinner. So there are recipes for one, like, really simple pastas and baked potatoes and delicious things on toast and that sort of thing. And then there are also kind of big crowd-pleasing sort of celebratory meals, like big roast chickens and sort of pizza parties and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I read that there's a glamour of mixing a martini for one, apparently.
There is, yeah. Well, if martinis are your thing, then, I think cocktails generally are something that it might feel a bit much to make yourself just a single personal cocktail, but I just think, why not? And there's something about just having a martini with something really, really simple and easy, like just some great cheese on toast or something like that. That actually, why not? If that's what you fancy and it's your Friday night, then that's what you should do.
Yeah, quite right. And I know that you're a features writer and columnist for the Daily Telegraph. Is this your first book?
It is, yeah. So I've been writing a column by the same name, called The Art of Friday Night Dinner, for about 4 years now. But I'm also a feature writer. But this is my first book, and yeah, it feels really special to have written a book about something that I've been writing about for a while now, and that I feel really passionately about. Yeah,
I'm sure. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And how did you get into cooking? Is it from being a child?
Yeah, I grew up in a very foodie family. I've got two siblings, and all three of us and both of my parents are big cooks. And yeah, we're one of those annoying families that if you have dinner with us, we spend the whole dinner talking about what we're eating and how we do it differently next time and what we should have for dinner next week. And we're all a bit obsessed. But yeah, there was great food in the house growing up. And so I think just by osmosis, really, I just kind of grew up loving cooking and loving being in the kitchen.
Apparently your mum's got a famous tomato sauce.
She has, yeah. It's known as Penny's pasta sauce. Yeah, it's famous amongst a certain group of people who we grew up with anyway. But it's now in the book, so hopefully it will become known to a few more people.
That's lovely. And it's nice nowadays because not only do you sit round the table and eat and chat, but generally people have kitchens that are open now, so you can cook and chat as well, can't you?
Yeah, that's so true. And I definitely think that if you're having people around, then you want to kind of minimise the amount of sort of action in the kitchen as far as you can. I mean, I think people have come to see you, not sort of watch you cook. So I always kind of think if you're having people around, try and just keep it really simple and maybe just cook the main course and then keep the starter and the pudding just like a kind of an assembly job, so that you don't have to spend the whole time cooking. You can just chat with your friends.
Yeah. Now, there are over 100 recipes in the book for the best night of the week, one of them being a Bloody Mary rigatoni, and you're going to tell us how to make it.
Yeah. Well, so this, I mean, people will have made something similar before, I'm sure. It's really kind of at its heart, just quite a simple tomato pasta. It's a bit like the kind of penne alla vodka that I'm sure lots of people have made, that kind of New York Italian classic that has a little splash of vodka in it and a little bit of cream. But it's also got all the flavours of a Bloody Mary. So it's got some celery seeds, it's got some hot sauce to give it that kind of chili kick, and it's got some Worcestershire sauce. Just to talk you through kind of how to make it, you're going to take a red onion and just one celery stick. This is if you're just making it for one, I say one, but it's one hungry person, I would say. And then you'll sort of finely chop both of those and then sweat them in plenty of butter and olive oil, about a tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil as well. And then once that's got sort of nice and soft, you'll then add some garlic, probably about one clove, and about half a teaspoon of celery seeds, which I just love, and they've got such a great kind of tangy, savoury flavour. And then you'll add some tomato puree, about 3 tablespoons, and just kind of get that, sort of stir that through and get that nice and glossy. And then you're going to add some hot sauce, and that's really kind of just a taste. I tend to put in about 2 teaspoons or just kind of a few dashes. And I quite like to use a hot sauce called Frank's because it's nice and fruity, but you can really use anything you've got, like Tabasco or whatever you've got in the fridge. And then some Worcestershire sauce, and again, just a few dashes of that. So you'll cook that for a couple of minutes, and then you'll add vodka or gin if you've got that, about a tablespoon, and the juice of a lemon, and a good pinch of salt. And then at this point, the sauce is going to look really nice and kind of smooth and glossy. And you'll take it off the heat, and hopefully you've been cooking the pasta at the same time whilst you've been cooking the sauce. And once the pasta is cooked, you're going to reserve a little bit of the cooking water, about sort of 2 tablespoons worth, and tip the pasta and the cooking water into the saucepan. And at that point, you'll add about 50 ml of double cream. And then you'll put the pan back over a low heat and just stir everything together so that the sauce kind of clings to the pasta, and each piece of pasta is nice and glossy. And then you're done. And then you just need a big cloud of Parmesan and plenty of black pepper, and you're good to go.
Wow, it definitely is a Friday night meal, isn't it? You wouldn't want that midweek. Well, you'd probably want it, but it wouldn't be very good to have it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It sounds delicious. Now, are you still doing your podcast?
Oh, I don't actually have a podcast. No, I'm not doing a podcast.
It must have been. It's on the press release. It says on the podcast you reminisce about your mother's famous tomato sauce. Maybe it was a podcast with somebody else.
Oh, it's a podcast I did the other day. That's probably it, yeah. Oh,
bless you. Well, if people want to find out more about you, are you on any social media, or do you have a website?
I am, yeah. I'm on Instagram at Ellie Staefel, which is ELLIESTEAFEL.
Great stuff. Well, just for our listeners, the book is called The Art of Friday Night Dinner, Recipes for the Best Night of the Week. It's out tomorrow, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And it's by Eleanor Staefel, who we're speaking to now. Eleanor, thanks for being on the show. And as I say, good luck with the book. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.